problem, and we got to provide a solution. So let's say, like, let me tell you what's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to be a whole bunch of foreclosures. Okay, the market's going. The market right now is all helium. You got there's more money in the market right now than it was last year, but 50% of people are out of work. So the government is just kicking money, kicking money, kicking money, kicking money, kicking money, kicking money, just to keep things going to the election time. They can't let it fall out before the election. So we got to the end of the year to really get it together. Because at the end of the year, starting January, February, it's gonna be a wrap. People haven't found a job in over 6 months. They lost their work. They're gonna be downsizing. They're gonna have to find something else. They're gonna have to work something out. Now, we gonna come in and we gonna buy it all up. But we gonna buy it up at a discount that's so low that even if the market goes down some more, we still gonna be healthy. Okay? So in a situation like that, flipping is about there's a few different ways to flip. We can get houses so low that we flip them to investors, and there's still room for them to get paid. Then we can take houses and we can flip them, and we can flip them to the retail market. Now, when you flip to the retail market, you're going to make more money than you make when you flip it to an investor, because retail is what retail is what is retailed at.
There's somebody back, man. I can barely hear.
Hold on. Let me see where that's coming from.
Yes, sir. Yes, everybody can mute their lines and computers and their phones, so we get better clarity and hear better.
Okay, smooth. Yeah. So when we're talking about flipping to investors, there's a couple different ways to do that. We can flip to investors and not even buy the property, close on it, which is called an assignment of contract. So we can go get the house under contract, and then we can sell that contract. 5,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. I've sold contracts over $100,000 before.
So Damon, when you get the contract, now are you talking about a purchase order on the house? Meaning like you go in as an investor to buy the house, and you do a purchase order with the owner of the house. And then once you realize, hey man, I don't have the money for this house, we can flip it to an investor, which is like the bird dog scenario, where you flip it for like 5 or 10,000 per investor.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, and that money, that 5 or 10,000 you're talking about, that's all going to determine on how low you get that contract. That could be 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, depending upon how low you get it. So anytime that you get a contract on a house, you always want to put the name of your business or whatever name you're buying it in, if it's your personal name or a business name, whatever. You always want to add at the end of that and or assignees. Always, in 100% of contracts.
What does that mean?
And or assignees means that you can assign it to somebody. So you can flip the contract. The contract is valuable. If you say, let's say there's $1 million home, you get a contract on it for $700,000, and let's say it's worth $1 million. You can flip the contract to another investor that likes fixing houses or whatever. You can flip the contract to him at $775,000, $800,000. So you won't even have to put no money up. You put up the earnest money to get the contract. That's it. You open up escrow, then he moves in his $800,000, pays off the people $700,000, and you walk with $100,000, and it's 100% legal.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we need to get more in depth with that concept. Yeah, more in depth, because that's an excellent concept. We can elaborate on that, and then eventually, if we can have an example of that contract, how that contract should be written, when we do make a purchase order on a house, if we can have an example of how that contract is written. And probably not today, but as we progress.
Yeah, every contract you always want to add. Let me give you an example. Let me pull up the last contract that I did. I'm going to show you every single contract that I've written over the last 20 years. I've included and or assignees.
Okay.
I'll show you one right now so I can show you what it looks like. JTFL. Okay, hold on. Okay, so while I'm looking for that, so you can sell paper and not even have to buy the house.
Right.
Now, do you want to be a flipper? There's a few kind of different flippers. There's a flipper that don't like fixing up the houses, like they just come and get their spread and keep it pushing. Those are mostly assigners, bird dogs, wholesalers is what they call them. Where the only money they're putting up is the earnest money to get the contract. So they go out, they find the deal, they put the house under contract in their name with and or assignees and drop some earnest money down.
Now, how does that process work? Now, can you just go back up and just go how that first process go with the flipper of the house, and they put the contract together. Now, how would that scenario go? Like how does that work? I mean, I read it, but I understand it, but just to bring it home, just to bring it home to us, how would that work? To actually get the contract with okay, you say you don't have no money, okay, just say you have money, you had 20,000, whatever it was, but you use no money to get this house. Okay, how would that contract do? How would that go? How would that situation play out? How would you make that happen? Or how does that work? Can you give a scenario or an example of how that works?
Find the Okay, hold on. Let me real quick before I answer that, because I just pulled this up. Let me just show you what this looks like real quick. This is the last contract I put under contract. Okay, you see right here on the contract, I got my partner who's handling the deal out there in Tennessee. So that he's representing the corporation we put together. Every time we buy a house, we always put together a different corporation. Just because if something happens, the worst thing that can happen is they can take that house. But if you got everything under one corporation and something happened, they can sue and lock everything down. So the entity only owes that. But you see right here, the and or assignees?
Right.
Every contract you want to add that right there, and or assignees.
Right.
So every contract is very, very, very important. That allows you to assign the contract, flip the contract, do whatever you want with the contract. You own the contract. If you don't have that in there, then you're going to have to buy it in the name that the contract is.
You have to do what?
You're going to have to buy it in that name that you have on there. You can't flip it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to go, like, there's people that I know that it don't cost no money to go out and find properties, and they find properties. They go and they negotiate good deals on them. They lock it down, and then they go ahead and they have a marketing list of investors that they send the property out to. And these are generally properties that aren't listed on MLS. Okay, so these aren't properties that's available to the public.
Okay. You're speaking of the multiple listing services, right? MLS.
Yeah, MLS, yeah, multiple listing services. That's what realtors use. That's what retail people use to sell their houses. That's the general database. It's nationwide, but every single city has their own branch. So it's like, when you're licensed in California as a realtor, you become you pay your MLS dues, multiple listing dues, then you'll be able to have access to all the properties in California that are listed. And the realtors list those properties, and it's probably the most complete source of everything, but it's not really it's not really a good spot for investors. Now you can find some good properties in here. I've been able to find um, many deals, short sales, flips, all kinds of deals I've been able to find in here, and but they're not many of them. But it's really easy to hustle this
Right.
because you can sit at home and you can go ahead and make offers all day long. But this is what it looks like here. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is MLS right here. This is the one. My firm is associated with the one out here in Southwest Riverside, but I got everything in LA and everything here. Okay, so it's so simple. Like I could do a training on this, and you don't have to be a realtor to have MLS. You don't.
Right.
Okay. There's you can come in as all kinds of different things. You can get MLS access all kinds of different ways, but predominantly it is for realtors. So, but you can come in here and this right here, this database is so official. Let me just give you an idea. Let's just say, okay, we're going to look at residential houses. And let's say you just wanted to do a zip code. So we'll go active, we'll go expired, we'll go canceled, withdrawn, and on hold. Don't worry about the close because those are ones that are already closed. And so you just come right here and then let's say you want to do it, let's say with your price point. Let's say you want to come at $500,000, okay? So we'll go $500,000 and then you hit the minus sign. And then we'll go right here to map search and give me a zip code.
90011.
90011. Okay. All right. So, okay, thank you. So this right here. So we're gonna come right here. Let's take a look at what we got. There's quite a few properties here. So let's just go ahead and we'll just do this, and this will just tell us everything that's right in here in this little area that we want. We'll hit criteria. We'll take a look at our results. We'll go here. And the real estate information is some very incredible information. You know what I'm saying? You got the lister name and everything's here. You got everything, all kinds of different things going on with the house. You can find out what's going on. So these are all the houses that are under $500,000. So so I could do a class on this and show you guys how to sit at home or have people that are with you go. And then look, we could put houses that have been sitting on the market for 200 days. So those people are having problems, right?
Right.
So we can separate them all kinds of different ways. We can just go active. We can go days on the market, and so we just got to go down here and put days on the market, and we can say 200 days plus. And so then we put in the zip code and everything around there. It's going to give us everything that's been on the market 200 days. And then what we could do, we just pick the phone up and we just call a realtor and be like, "Why is the house been sitting on the market?" Because you just call them up and say, "Hey, you got this listing over here at First Street. Why has it been? Yeah, I still got it. Is it still for sale? Yes, it is. Why has it been on the market for 200 days?" And then they'll tell you, they want too much money. It's a bad neighborhood. Whatever. They'll tell you anything they want. And then you can come in and be like, how desperate are they? We can do data and we can pull up exactly how much people owe on their house. How much they owe on their house. So we know, like, okay, they bought the house 25 years ago and they trying to sell it right now. They already got a lot of use out of it, a lot of stuff of that nature, and the house is probably worn out, as bad as whatever the case is. It's been on the market 100 days. I had an investor that his whole game was finding houses that have been on the market over 90 days. Over 90 days. Over 90 days. And so we just went in there and we found everything around here, everything in Southern California that's been on the market 90 days, and we just made offers. Sometimes 100 offers a day. and generally every week we would get about two of them. So you put in 500 offers a week, and about two would come back, and we get to negotiating with them, and and the whole nine and stuff like that. So there's different ways, Brother James, that we can find houses. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that I know that we can find houses. Okay.
Okay. Say we find a house, they've been sitting on the market for 200 days, and just say we find out that they owe $50,000, they behind in their mortgage $50,000. How would we coming in as investors, flipping houses? How would we be able to get that property? What would be our conversation with the owners of that home or the real estate agent to buy that house? How would that conversation go?
Okay, say that last part again one more time, sir. Hello?
Okay, just say we found a house that was on the market for 200 days. We find out that they $50,000 behind in a mortgage, and we come in to offer them a deal. Okay, how would that conversation go? Like, who would we talk to? The agent? I know sometimes we can make the offer with the homeowner. We can make the offer to the real estate agent. We can make the offer to the bank. So what would be the methodology of how we would do that? We know they $50,000 behind. Will we offer them $50,000? I mean, will we tie up the house? We make them a purchase order for the house. How would that go?
Right. So if the house is listed, then they hire the realtor. Unless they're doing for sale by owner.
Right.
Okay, now there are a lot of houses that are for sale by owner. They call those FISBOs. Okay.
Right.
When you deal with that, that's usually that's usually somebody, a homeowner, investor, somebody who's not interested in paying real estate commissions. They like, I can sell my house on my own. I don't need to pay nobody no 3%, 5%, or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So FISBOs are cool, but sometimes, I mean, you can end up finding a better deal because they're saving money. They're saving huge money. Like a house that we're just selling, we just paid $60,000 in real estate commission. Now we could have FISBO'd it and not pay no realtor, but guess what? Realtors aren't gonna work for you, and realtors got a lot of the clients. So the only people that are gonna be calling FISBOs are people that are savvy, homeowners. They're like, I want a really good deal, and I'm good. We can figure this out by ourselves. We don't need professionals involved. And people like investors that are trying to get good deals. But they have a website that's pretty cool. It's called right here, FISBO.com. And you can go in here and you can find all kinds of people that are selling houses, and there's no realtor involved, and you just straight negotiating with the owner, for sale by owner. But they don't want to pay commissions, And then they even have services that the FISBO people can pay $200, and then this real estate company will list the property on the MLS so everybody sees it. Because once the property goes in the MLS, that's where you get the Zillow, the Redfin, all those internet sites plug into that, and then the MLS is the main database. So when you see stuff on Zillow, it's because somebody put it on MLS. It updates immediately. Okay? That makes sense? Okay. Brother James, you still there?
Okay. Yes, sir. I'm still here. Like a prime example in the book I was reading. It was somebody that was under distress, and their house was in foreclosure. A house flipper came and offered them a deal for $20,000. To get them out of foreclosure, had them sign the contracts, and they end up making a deal with the senior lien. The senior lien, and they pay like $20,000 for the house, and the house is worth $200,000. But they saying like in some situations you really shouldn't do that because that's like taking advantage of the person that owns the house and yada yada yada. So how do we navigate around them type of situations and make it work for us?
Well, when you get a house at a good price, that means somebody else got it. You know, somebody's giving you some money to get you a good price, right?
Now what was that again?
I said if you find a house at a good price, that means whoever sold it to you sold it at a bad price. Now, me personally, I don't mind dealing with banks. But like the old lady that's about to lose her house, you know, all that kind of stuff, and she's losing her house. I don't like that. I don't like doing deals like that. I'll beat the bank up all day long, but just me personally, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's like really down on their luck, or somebody that's like elderly and they can't afford their house no more, and they're getting ready to lose their house, and they come in and seize opportunity and stuff like that. I don't really do that. I normally defend those people.
Right.
Okay, I normally defend them. Now, I got a case yesterday I was working on. Okay, somebody came to me and said my house is in foreclosure right there in LA, in Inglewood. My house is in foreclosure. I said, okay, let's see what it looking like. So basically, they got a first, and they've been paying their first good from the day they had over 12 years. Now their second, they got a second, and they second they haven't paid. They forgot about it. And when the housing market crashed 2 years ago, 2000 like 8, 9, 10, right around there, they stopped making the payment. They didn't make a payment in 10 years. But let me tell you what's going on right now. Let me show you what I've been able to discover, and I'm beating the brakes off these banks. Now I don't do this a lot because it's beating the system too strong. But I will do it for family and friends and friends and family. Okay. So what happened is there's opportunistic asset management companies that buy these toxic loans. These loans that haven't been paid on in 10 years. They can get them for $8. It'd be a $200,000 mortgage, second mortgage, third mortgage that people have forgot about. And then what they do, they grab it, and then they go ahead and they tell the people, you owe us money, pay us. The people don't know who they are, they ignore it. They haven't paid the second in 10 years.
I can't really hear you, Damon. It's some background noise.
Hold on, let me see who that is. Okay, that's coming from looks like that's hey Steve, that's coming from you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you gotta mute that out, Steve. Okay. So what ended up happening is they end up buying this second for $8, and it'd be a $200,000 lien, and then they start the foreclosure process. And so they win it no matter what because they only buy liens on firsts that got equities. So it's a $600,000 house. It got a $300,000 first that's being maintained correctly, and they got a $200,000 second that's been forgotten by the homeowner. So these people come in and buy it, start the foreclosure process, tell the people you owe us this money. So what do people do? They start making the payment on the second to stop the foreclosure. Now, or they lose their house, the people foreclose the second, and then they gladly pay off the first for $300. Because when you own a percentage of piece of property, I don't care if it's 1%, you have the interest in that property, you can negotiate with everybody else that has an interest on this property. I'm going to let you know right now up front, about 80% of banks are crooked. They know they're crooked. They're smart. They design these laws to just win and beat people. And they take advantage of the unaware and those that don't know. And that predominantly means they're preying on the inner cities and they're preying on minorities. And so that's why I don't mind going to battle these banks. I don't mind. But I don't like personally finding like I don't like dealing with elderly people and things of that nature because they're losing. But sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm gonna lose it. If I'm gonna lose it, I'd rather lose it to you, brother James. Sometimes they'll say that because they know you. You know, you came up around them. You know what I'm saying? They used to babysit you, whatever. So they're like, if I lose my house, I'm gonna lose it to who I want to lose it to.
Right.
And that's okay. That's different. So, but you know, that's just me. But I'm gonna tell you what these banks are doing right now, and they're real smooth. And when they pull this off, we beat them down. Okay, but that's a little bit off track there. But
now,
you know,
Damon, now speaking of the senior loan, now just say we went to the county register office and his house was in foreclosure, and according to the flip rules, we would only have to pay off the senior loan. We wouldn't have to pay off that second loan, correct?
no, the senior loan is in first position, so it's controlling the game. It's the point guard.
Right.
So if the first forecloses, everybody else gets wiped out.
Right.
If the second forecloses, they still got to pay the first. So like I was saying, these people buy loans that they don't mind paying off the first.
So I even like stumbled up on this information. If a house goes in foreclosure and it's under foreclosure up under the uh, um, second lien, just say the second lien was 250,000, and just say we negotiated and paid off the second loan for 250,000, but we didn't pay off the senior loan, we still could end up losing the house because we didn't secure the first lien.
You still got to deal with the first.
Because once you pay off the first lien or negotiate the first lien and get that situated, then you can negotiate the second lien as well, correct?
Yeah. So let's say we're doing a short sale and there's a first and a second on it. Well, the second, we just let the second know that we're doing a short sale, but we can't really move with the second until we get permission from the first. Because if we don't get permission with the first, ain't no point in even talking to the second. So the second's on standby. The second knows they're in an inferior position. The second's at the mercy of the first. Now, the first is cold. They say, I'm only like, when we were doing short sales 12 years ago, they used to let the first used to let the second eat $1,000. That was it. They couldn't make more than $1,000. Now the first lets the second eat up to 12,000. So if they got a $200,000 loan, the first is gonna say, the only way I'm gonna do this deal, because the first is taking a short. So if they taking a short, they like, I'm not finna pay the second. I'm the boss here. So the second can get 12 grand. That's it.
No matter how much the second no matter how much the lien is, they only can get 12,000. That's the max, right?
Only get 12,000, and then if the second, like on the last deal that I did, the last short sale I did, it was a $300,000 second, and it was a $1.3 million first. The first, I got the first down to 660. 600, somebody, no, 600. The first bowed out at 600. The second was like, the first said the second can only eat 12 grand. The second said, oh, we got to get more than 12,000. Because they know what the deal, they know what the house is worth. So they're like, we got to get more than this. And I said, okay, how much you want? They said, we want 42,000. So I said, okay, because that's what they want. They weren't going to do the deal without it. Period. That means I couldn't close. So I ended up the first thing they giving me 12,000 to pay them off, and then I had to put up 30 racks, and I had to give them 42. So I was in the house 600,000 plus 30, because the first covered 12,000 of it. That's what they said I'll allocate to the second. And I had to put up 30 cash to knock them off.
That's all right.
That was the short sale.
That's the short sale.
So did you wholesale that house, or did you just fix it up and flip it?
Fixed it up, flipped it, had a $1.3 million contract on it. COVID hit, had to settle for 1.1.
Oh, well, you still was winning.
Yeah, because we bought right.
Yeah.
In real estate, if you buy right, you win. If you buy wrong, you lose.
That's still all right. Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Yeah. So short sales right now are going to be huge. A lot of people are going to be facing foreclosure, and they need help. And so while we're doing a short sale, if they can't maintain their payments, we stop the foreclosure, and then we beat the bank down. Now, you got to understand something. You in the real estate business, your job is to devalue assets, devalue the house.
Right.
The more you devalue the house, the better price you're going to get. So when you walk in the house, you're going to be like, oh man, that's incredible. No, you're looking for what's wrong, not what's right. The homeowner is going to be telling you, or the investor is going to be telling you what's nice, what's fresh, whatever they did. You got to find what's up with this, what's up with that, what's up with this, what's up with that. So I recommend that you go and become a home inspector and a code inspector. I recommend. It'll take you a weekend to get certified, all 50 states, to become a mold inspector. It'll take you another weekend to get certified as a home inspector. Now, even if you don't work, you don't have to do it as a business or anything like that, but what it allows you to do, it allows you to see every nook and cranny of the house and go through it with a microscope, which you can bring the value down, which helps you negotiate the value down. Now, when we negotiate with these banks, hey Steve, you got to put a mute.
Somebody got the mute.
You got to mute, Steve. When we negotiate with these banks, we got to be able to provide evidence of our due diligence. See, when that house that I got for 600, and other houses in the neighborhood is selling for 1.4. So why would the bank take a short to 600 when everybody else is getting 1.4? Well, I was able to convince them to do it. And I got a lot of different ways that we do that. And every single one of them is 100% legal. So we can go into that and how we do that, because the bank is looking at a number. They're looking at how much we got on this house. And then they look at this number right here. This is a big number. They look at our offer and what we offering, and then they look at, okay, how much would they walk away if they foreclose on it? And whatever number is higher, that's what they're going with. So when we're dealing with a bank on a short sale, they're going to send out somebody that's called a broker, and they do a BPO. It's going to be a licensed real estate agent or broker, and it's called a broker's price opinion. And that is a quick report they put together. Let me see if I can find one here. That's a quick report they put together that tells people that tells the bank, if you were to foreclose on this house, I can sell it in 60 days at this price. Let me show you an example of a BPO. Can everybody see my? You can still see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir. Broker's price opinion. I got it.
BPO, broker price opinion. So this is what a BPO looks like. So they come out and they do a quick little study. How much? Boom. What is it looking like? Okay. And this little data, they put it together real quick. It's a done deal. So when they come over, they're the eyes and the ears for the bank. You got to make sure that they don't come back talking about this thing is all incredible and all that kind of stuff. We give them reports, mold reports, we give them inspection reports, we give them a whole bunch of data that they feel real good about putting in their report. Based upon our reports, look what they said it was worth. Look how much they said.
Whoa, whoa.
Now,
that's huge.
And why did he say that? Let me show you why. I'll show you
That's
right
a
now.
third of the after repaired value. Wow, that's heavy. Go ahead.
Okay, this is what it is. Now, when I tell you it's very important to go to school and to get this information. Now, there's a lot more to the game than this. I'm giving you some good nuggets right now. There's a lot more to the game, and we'll talk about that at another training. But how much does that say it costs to rectify the problem?
A half a millstone. Oh, that's cold. Oh, wait a minute. No. I see it now. It's 132. Okay.
No, 130.
So is that a total?
To mediate the mold, 369 for construction. And when you mediate mold, you got to tear down walls and wall studs and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And you give a whole thing right here. Now, when you telling how much it's gonna cost, you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna come in as the guy trying to hustle at Home Depot to fix the house, or you gonna come in as Beverly Hill Builders? You wanna do your price point, and you are doing the work as Beverly Hill Builders.
Right.
Beverly Hill Builders gonna charge you $500 grand. The hustler at Home Depot gonna charge you $22,000. We put together the report.
Now this is an inspection report here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody that's serious about a house flipping gotta go. Let me show you where you need to go. This is very important. You want to write this down. And if you tell them I sent you, they'll probably give you like 30, 40%. I done seen like 30 people here already. Yeah, you want to go to this school right here. Take a little picture of this.
So what is that?
This,
PMII?
yeah, this right here is going to get you certified. Normally, it's all online. It takes you about a weekend. You'll get certified as a residential mold inspector, a commercial mold inspector, and a mediation expert. So you can treat mold. You get these 3 certificates right here. Right here. Commercial, mediator, and residential.
Mm.
About $300 to get all 3 of them. Okay? You get this, I'll show you how to make millions. Millions. Because mold is the silent killer.
Mm.
Now there's about 3 things that we use to beat these things down. One, the true condition of the house. And because we trying to buy it, we focus on everything wrong. Everything. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can find mold in the White House. Now, when we send mold out to the testing company, to the lab, it comes back microorganism, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. It's a 15, 16 letter word. Scary. But if they took enough time to look at the dictionary, it'll say common household mold. Some cases.
Wow.
You're not always going to find black mold every single house. But I guarantee you, anytime that you have water, moisture, darkness, humidity, you got mold. Under sinks, bathroom sinks, everywhere. It's everywhere. Now, to mediate mold, it depends. It depends how much it costs. Well, if you want me to come mediate your house with one of my mold companies, and I got 6 of them, it's gonna cost you 500 racks. Because I gotta get that $500,000 one way or another.
Hmm.
Either you gonna pay me to mediate this house 500 racks, or you gonna give me a discount of 500. I don't matter to me. But you got 2 options. That's how you deal with the bank.
Ooh. That's cool.
So mold is one thing we do. That's one thing. One thing we do is we look at every house. Another thing we do is we look at the loan. We see if anything was done illegally with the loan.
Hmm.
And then the last thing we do, I'll talk to you about that in another training. But when we go and we do a loan, we can look at a loan and we can do what's called a forensic audit on the loan.
Right.
Called a securitized mortgage audit. Any loan that was done over any loan that was done, let's say 2010 before, generally
Got issues.
the lender did major fraud. Well, right now we're working with some people that the lenders try and take their house from them. And it just happened to be they happen to be a friend for one of my family members, and they said you better call them. And we got on the case. Now, the lenders ain't scared of us. But let me show you who they're scared of. You see them down there?
Mm-hmm. Well, the government.
That's it. See, These banks hide behind these corporations. And when they hide behind these corporations, they can't get touched. You gotta take the times. When we're gonna fight them this way, see, because they need to give us the house at a discount because one, we gonna go ahead and we gonna beautify it and we gonna, we gonna present it nice. We're gonna be able to make some little money and and we're gonna help somebody else save some money. But if they get the house, they just, they ain't gonna, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sometimes we gotta deal with them like, look, you got the right to foreclose on this house, and you don't even own this house, and we know who owns it. So, do you want us to file a complaint on you that you running a racket, a for-profiting scheme?
Ooh.
Or do you want to go
You
ahead
get
and
nervous now.
Or do you want to come take this discount and go chill? Because you already got paid on it, but somebody else need to eat too now. So, and we represent the homeowner. We got the house under contract. You know what I'm saying? We doing a short sale with them. You trying to throw them in the street. We trying to help them. And when it's time to move, when we do the short sale, we gonna set them up. We gonna move them out somewhere. We gonna make sure that they get in straight. We make sure they got a good lease paid up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We can legally give them something called cash for keys legally. We don't just give them $2,000 like the bank is trying to offer them, and we give them as much as we can legally give them. Sometimes $30,000. If you're making $200-300, why not give them 30 racks?
Why not?
If they lost our game, well, let's go ahead and help them out. So when we go to when we get into a short sale, it's war.
Yeah.
It's war.
That's right.
And we ain't losing. It ain't over till we say it's over.
Come on now. Teach y'all.
Yeah. So this right here is real important. This is important right here. This school. Now, this school right here, they also have inspection, home inspection. Let me show you. You can buy the whole kit and caboodle. You can get mold certified, all that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me tell you something. I got cousins, brothers. Between us all, we got over 11 mold companies and private inspection companies. And I ain't never did one other than for ourselves. Right? But the bank might not believe the first one, so then you got to send the next company in. And they might not believe the second company, you got to send the third company in. Let me tell you one time, man, it was a house I was doing in Sherman Oaks. It was a quadplex worth $2 million. The guy was like, D, let's beat him. Let's beat him. I hate these suckers, man. Let's go. Let's get him. I said, what you want to get him for? Or not necessarily get him for, but I said, what you want to get his house for? He goes, he said, how about, I owe $2 million on it. It's worth $2 million. How about 1.5? I said, man, don't call me for that. You can do that on your own.
Yeah.
He goes, David, what you want to get him for? I said, let's get him for 500. He said, okay, you think you can get this for 500? I said, not only do I think, we're gonna do it. So we doing this thing with the bank. We done found all the stupid stuff they did and everything. And we found some things wrong with the house and stuff like that. And this house was on one of them streets. There was a high school right over there, right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
The bank was acting so crazy. They were like, you are out of your mind. I am not giving this house up for no $500,000. I said, yes, you are. They said, no, I'm not. If I get this house up, I'm gonna lose my Christmas bonus of $600,000, and I ain't gonna do it. So kick rocks. I said, okay, okay, no problem. Well, sir, you do know that this house is infested with mold, right? Yes, I do. And we don't own it, so we're not liable for it. But we are going to foreclose on it. Okay, no problem. So what I did is I sat out there one afternoon, in the morning and the afternoon, and just counted all the kids that walked by the house, walking from the high school. Man, about 4,000 kids in the morning, about 4,000 kids in the evening. Okay? Threw some yellow tape up around the house. Started interviewing the children. Children, when you walk by this house, how do you feel? Does it make you feel sick? Do you get wheezy? Does your asthma start acting up? They said, you know what, sir?
Oh wow.
Yes, it does, sir. Got about 30 or 40 children on video and written statements from their parents and they, what you call it, when you throw the red tape up, everybody gonna come holler at you because they think it's a murder scene. And went over to the superintendent in that area and said, sir, there's a house over here that we have some investors that are environmentally friendly that want to take care of this house. We have over 8,000 children walk past this house every single day on their way to school, sir. Here's a license, mold inspector. They're going to tell you what's going on here. Oh, yes, based upon this, sir, it's this, and this. You think COVID was bad. Man, the superintendent and the principal shut down the school.
What?
Yes. The mayor got on the phone with the banker. He said, if you don't take this offer, we're going to sue you and we're going to break you off. That boy called me on the phone so quick. Hey, Damon, is it still on the table for 500? I said, no, 150. I'm sending over the paper.
Oh my goodness.
And then we got it for 150 and treated the house.
Wow. Now that's a truth.
So you got to understand, the banks do not want to take a loan. So you got to think outside of the box. And you got to do everything within the parameters of the law. But you got to understand, beat them with the stick of the law, because they are not scared of you. They are not scared of me, but they are scared of the law. The law works for us. Use them. The banks aren't, you can't look at the banks as they can do whatever they want. It's the banks. No. Unless they're doing what you want, it ain't right. They look at it, they up in the middle of Texas looking at some numbers and saying, no, we ain't gonna do that. Make it a little bit closer home for them. Get their attention. Don't be like everybody else they deal with, because they got a program for you. And you do everything legally. Everything's documented. Everything's 100. So this right here is what I recommend you look into. Because if you're gonna be buying houses at a discount, why? You think people just gonna give you a good deal because you want a good deal? No. You're like because you gotta remember you're negotiating. So when you negotiate, you need as much evidence as you possibly can. You got to be very prepared. You can't just come in here saying, you know what, your house is worth 500,000. Where the house next door sold for 500 grand. I want to buy your house for 200. Well, why? Why would I sell you my house at 200? Well, let me tell you why. And so, dealing with those people can get 500, especially in California. It's 10 people lined up to spend 500. So when we find houses that are overinflated and they have more liens on them than what the house is worth, then we do what's called a short sale, and we're not dealing with the homeowner, because the homeowner can't get no money on a short sale because the banks are taking losses. Only money they can get is the cash for keys that we give them when they move out of the house. We are legally to do that, and the bank can tell us how much we can give them. Sometimes the bank can say you only give them 10 grand. Well, if the bank says it's in the closing instructions and you agree to it, then you only give them 10 grand. The bank might say you can give them 30 grand. The bank can say I don't care how much you give them. But most banks are going to tell you they're going to be able to give them like 10 to 15 racks, the most. Cash for keys for them to move out. And when we find these deals, we go to work. And the cheaper we going to get the houses, the longer it's going to take. But it don't cost us nothing to work. Except for we got to go do some inspections. So we got to have some data. So when the bank send out their people, we can deal with them. See, when the BPO comes out, they're just taking pictures. Quick pictures for they're literally in the house for 12 minutes, 5 minutes. They take pictures of every room, that's it, and walk out. That's it. 10, 15 minutes. They're not doing a full appraisal or nothing. So and all the damage is invisible, generally. It's in the walls, it's underneath the house, it's underneath the sink. You know, unless the people are filthy and it's everywhere, but most people keep a nice house. So the damage and the things that are wrong with the house, I mean, they got, we find there's houses that are called, they got sick house syndrome is called. So you'll learn all this stuff with this here, this mowing. But then you also got the home inspection. Home inspection. You get this license, you can, it's the same school, get it all. Become a home inspector and a licensed inspector. It don't matter if you ever open a business and deal with anybody outside of yourself, but for your own investments, you should know what you invest, what you got. You want to pay somebody to do this, or you can do it yourself. I recommend do it yourself because you're learning some things. I've been doing this so long that I tell the inspectors, this way, I can walk around the house in 2 minutes and then I can give the notes to the inspector, check this out, and boom, they come back and it's a wrap. You get infrared, you can see moisture in the walls, stuff like that. You got to understand this stuff right here is serious. I mean, some of these houses have asbestos in it. Like in the air ducts, in the walls, insulation, these older houses. Never been taken out. Find some asbestos in the house. Tell the bank you found a house with asbestos. They're trying to get it off. They definitely don't want to foreclose on it. They don't want to own it. Because if they own it, see, once you tell them what's wrong with the house, if they foreclose on the house, they have to treat it.
Got it.
Because if they don't treat it and they got the realtor, shows the house to somebody and somebody ends up getting sick, bam, and they didn't disclose that the house had this, bam. Well, they can't disclose the house had that openly because it's going to knock their price down too hard. So when we do short sales, we don't even have to list the property. Now, with realtors, let me explain something to you about realtors. I sent my wife to realty school, and she got one client, me. But, but when she does a house, for me, when I do a short sale, the bank pays the realtor 5-6%. My wife is representing the listing, and she represents.
So that's more money.
So if you become a realtor, your money becomes more. Now you can't be the realtor, the inspector, and the investor. You can't do that. But you can't keep it in the family. Come and think about it. Every short sale I do, my wife's the listing officer. And she represents the buyer and the seller. Now, if somebody brings us the deal, I'll let them represent the lister. My wife will represent me, or my team. And it's cool. We go to work. And realtors love working with us because we do all the work. They just got to sit back and collect the check. They don't do nothing. You know why? I don't want them doing nothing. Because what we're doing, all they're going to do is get in the way.
That's right.
So we just say, just go ahead and close. And we'll tell you when the closing's happening, you're going to pick the check up. You're going to pick your check up. Let me show you what a check. Let me show you what one of them checks look like. Let me show you what a check look like. That you don't want to be leaving money on the table. That's what the realty checks look like right there.
Oh, that's 30 racks. All right.
30 racks. 30 racks. You don't want to leave them checks on the table.
Now, Damon, what type of commission or how is that? Well, how is that based off of? Like, I know it's a certain percentage of the overall sale, but like, what percentage does a realtor usually get?
Usually between 4 and 6%, and then it's normally split up between the realtor that brings the buyer and the realtor that brings the house. So you can split it up in most cases.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me see if I can show you here. Let me see. So when you're doing a short sale, you gotta use a realtor because the bank wants the house to be marketed by a licensed professional, so they make sure that they get the best price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but we do not list the house on MLS. And a lot of the banks would be like, well, why you ain't listing the house? Why you not listing the house? Well, you don't want us to list the house. Why not? Because if we list the house, everybody's gonna know how bad this house is. Is that what you want? Oh, you're right. Right here. Look at the last one right here. You see that right here? Right here?
Mm-hmm.
19.
But that's 19.
Oh, they double-ended. That same person got the buyer and the seller a commission.
That's my wife.
Okay. She double-ended it. All right, go ahead.
So that's 19,800 twice for the lister, the listing and selling. So okay, I see what you're saying. So that was like a total of 38,000. Well, yeah, a little bit over 38, maybe 40,000.
Yes,
No,
sir.
no, hell yeah.
Yes,
And there's
sir.
41. Okay, damn near two dubs. Okay,
And that's not even the investment. That's just the real estate side. And I had,
yeah,
I see, I had to get licensed. I was like, look, you got to get licensed.
yeah.
You
So
know,
so basically, what you're saying in these deals, I see what you're saying, not leaving no money on the table. You're dealing with the listing and the selling. I mean, basically the realtor commission, then the investment side. You know, so I mean, off a deal, how many times you see in one deal the potential to get paid?
well, you get paid if you got the realtor can get paid. Like the bank is gonna get like I think in this case it was 5%. So they gave up 5%. You split it up 250, 250, 2.5, 2.5 listed, 2.5 to the person to bring the buyer, 2.5 to the person to bring the house. Then you got the investment. You know when you investor as an investor, you go ahead and you flip it. So you can do both sides, but I just recommend that you really just work with a realtor and
Okay.
work out a good arrangement with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I never got a license, because I'm more interested in being an investor than a realtor.
Yeah.
But you need a realtor to push these deals through, especially when you're doing short sales. So,
Yeah.
but we can negotiate. You think my wife picked the phone up and called the bank and negotiated? No, I did. I just put myself on the third party authorization, and every day woke up, broke them off. So we can do that, And so in California, it's getting ready to be a whole bunch of. There's going to be a whole bunch of this going on because a lot of jobs is gone and ain't coming back.
Yeah.
A lot of people that had them jobs aren't going to be able to find them jobs no more because they're obsolete.
Okay. Now, Damon, I had another question back on the what's all in the same in regards to like say flipping of properties. Brother First and I were talking about the other night. Um, Now I know you said we always want to buy low, or find the lowest deal on the property because that gives us the room and the leverage to be able to make the right profit or make a decent profit for our time. So with that being the case, like like when we find these distressed properties, I know it's kind of like a general question, but I know it could be a broad answer. I'm assuming because every deal is different or the scenario is different. But like say for instance, you find these distressed properties or you find a property, whether it be a foreclosure, whether it be short sale, whether it be a distressed property. um, what are the different ways that you can
Ooh.
utilize other people's money or utilize the money from the bank? Like, say if we found a foreclosure right now, that we wanted to flip it. We found a flip, potential foreclosure or distressed property, um, and we needed to say it was going for 330 out in Lancaster, hypothetically speaking, um, even San Bernardino County, Riverside County. What are some of the ways we can acquire the funding without having to use our own personal cash? And then also, how much cash would you suggest we you would need to get started flipping properties or starting with your first flip?
You don't need anything because when you find a deal so good, the banks fight to pay the whole thing. When
Okay.
I buy a property, I don't put one penny down. That, a matter of fact,
Okay.
at the closing, I make the bank give me back my earnest money and cover every closing cost and buy my insurance and do everything. And I dare them to say something.
Okay. Now, starting out, how do we, how can we do that? I mean, what are some of the steps we need to take to be able to do that? I mean, should we be looking at leveraging our credit?
You gotta
Should we
find
be
you got
coming
the
in?
property. Brother Captain, we gotta find a deal. Hey, let me tell my guy, Steve, stop recording for a second. I'm gonna say something I just want to say in the Stop the YouTube thing real quick, okay? All right, yeah, do that. Let me know when you stop recording. I'm gonna show my brother something. What we